Hey dude, this is Kirst. In today's last tutorial, I'm going to be going over the basics of physics. This will allow certain parts of the model to move on their own in comparison to the rest of the model. To be completely honest, this is one of the most confusing parts, and I recommend doing it with a second model open. In this case, I'm going to be going over it with another model open, one that I've created before. Going to pull open one of my own. You can also do it with one of the core MMD models if you don't have your own, or just follow with this tutorial, but it makes it a lot easier. I'm going to want to go ahead and open. You're not going to need this for most of the time. I'm just going to go to my stuff, and then go my completed stuff, and open that one. Yeah, this is what we're going to be working with just for copies and such. In this character, if you notice, I did do a hair IK chain, and then I realized that it had no use. Anyway, we're going to not need this for now, so we're going to minimize the views of the new open window. And okay, here's what we're going to be working with. We're going to want to create at least physics bodies on the entire character. We're not going to have the entire character working in physics, but the way physics bodies work is they interact with each other and push away from each other when they collide. This prevents certain parts from moving into other places when they actually move. You're going to have static physics bodies and then the actual moving ones. So you're going to want physics bodies all over at least the back and the arms so that the hair does not go through it. I also recommend having them throughout the rest of the body, so I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to head to do just that. You're going to want to select everything, make sure you're on bone select mode, and in all honesty, you could just hit Control A. You're going to want to go to the Edit menu and go to the Bone menu, and then go down, and you're going to see an X, which if you look up here, the Soft Body tab, you can see Soft Body right there. Or not Soft Body, Physics. That's Soft Body. Anyway, you're going to want to select that option when you have all the bones selected. It's also /joint, so it will append, if you hit OK, it will append both physics bodies and joints. Now, if you're wondering, how can I see all these? That's because I went ahead to turn on both the physics frames and the physics density sort of thing. Now, right now, this looks a little confusing. It's not as confusing as it actually is, but okay, it is a bit confusing. Certain things, though, aren't going to need physics. For example, the IK parts of the feet. So go ahead and select your physics select mode, the fourth one, and you can click them and just delete them. It will probably prompt you for a delete because you're deleting more specific things. The center does not need one, that's guaranteed. The hair will definitely need one. The upper and lower bodies, yes, they will need one, I think. And this back part really probably doesn't need one, but we'll leave them in there anyways. You might now wonder, do these all fit correctly? Well, they sort of do, but certain ones are a little off. If you look at the, right here, these are colliding with other physics in the front. They're not going to work well when it goes into actual physics playing. Also, if you notice, you have joints on everything. Joints are only for things that you're adding physics to. If you use them on anything other than physics, the model will crash MMD. So go to joint select mode, make sure it's just joint, scroll out, select everything but the hair. I recommend doing it in this angle, and then delete them all but the ones on the hair, or anything else you want physics on. Now if you look, you've got 3 joints on the hair, and physics on everything else. Now, the way these physics work, you're going to have to go to the Physics tab to find out. I don't remember which the color pattern of the physics is, which is why I keep this open. I'm only going to be referencing this. I don't even need the PMX view. On that point, I'm just going to turn off PMX view, because I don't really need it. I'm going to go over to the Physics tab and take a look at what each of these are. So now, I have named these to what MMD specifications are, but I can still make sense of what they specifically are. Actually, we don't even need the hands, to be completely honest. If you want the hands, you can do them, but I'm not going to explain how to do the hands. They're kind of just there. The way these work is anything that's supposed to have physics is marked with red. Anything that's not supposed to have physics is marked with green. So you're just going to want to find the hair, which are these 3 physics bodies, and keep them red. Everything else gets green. So I'm going to set those to green, set everything else to green, but these odd bones here. 1, 3, 5, and 7 are also physics bodies. These are these 4 here. So I'm going to move them up with the rest of the physics bodies. The order does not matter on these, so you can organize it any way you want. Now, there's also another issue of density. You're going to want to have to figure out, I believe, how strong the physics body is. So I'm just following by what the other MMD things had done by. So for these, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 checked, along with drop-down menu 7 to set the color to 7. For the first part of the legs, which is right... Honestly, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's probably the thigh. You're going to want to check 1, but select box 8. But for the rest, you're just going to have box selected 1 and nothing else. For the hair, you're going to want 5 and 9, and then select 5. I mean, by all means, you probably can do other methods. I'm just copying off of this because I know it works. For the arms, select 3 and 4. So I'm just going to select the entirety of the arm. 3 and 4, and then select 3 as a box. Now you should have, essentially, some arbitrary ones that are yellowish colored, 2 that are red, 4 purple, 3 blues, and then the rest that are green. And then the colors should only be red on the purple and the blue bones representing the skirt thing and the hair. If you go back over here, things look a bit more, I don't know whether to call them organized or confusing. I'm going to disable the mesh view so I can see them more as what they are. And if you look, some of them aren't going to collide correctly. We're going to fix that. These ones here, we realized, or I recognized in the first, or whatever, pointed it out, that the first ones make these 2 flaps move, but the second ones in the back make the entire thing move. So you don't want these back ones to have physics. So we're going to have to check what the bones are. So I'm going to click the bone, check in the bone tab. And these are bone 1 and bone 3. So the bone 1 and bone 3 don't have physics. Bone 1 and bone 3 do not have physics. They are marked as green. But the front 2 purple ones, as you can see them flashing here, you can see them by the little things on them, they are going to have physics. So the rotation is what we're going to have to set to 0, just so they don't... The way physics work is it will try to drop them based on the bone, so they'll swing down and then this will move. So we're going to want to say, set the rotation of both of these to 0 in every regard, and now they're vertical. They're still slightly colliding with the legs, so we're going to want to shrink their size to slightly smaller than what they were. So go to physics select mode. I believe you should, yep, you should be able to select them. And then set their size, which I believe is this first one, to 0.75 is what I will do. Now they are colliding a lot less with the legs, and should remain in their positions until the character moves, which will cause it to rotate with the character. Elsewise, they should stay exactly as they are. Now, that is physics set for the front. And I just realized something. I accidentally deleted the joints for these. So, as you saw me do before, I deleted everything but what I needed. So I'm just going to select them, edit bone X, add more physics and joints, but then scroll to the end of the physics list and delete the physics. Now I've got the joints back. It doesn't really make much of a difference. They're still there, and that's what counts. Anyway, the rest are all solid physics except for the hair. The hair, well, if you look, that's a bit too, it's going to phase with the character too much. You're going to want to select the hair under physics. You might want to move it closer to the character. Set the rotation all to 0. And then raise the scale from 0.6 to 1. This will mean that the hair is a lot thicker than it actually is, and will not collide with the body at all. I mean, by all means, you can change it to whatever scale you think works best, but in my opinion, this sort of works. Also, the head, which I have here, I'm going to make actually take up the head. So I'm moving it to the center of the head, and then I'm going to scale it out. I wonder if I could scale it like this. Nope. Set the scale, nope, not a 1. We're going to want a 2, maybe. For some reason it reset its location, but now if you look, that takes up a bit more of where the head is. So now the head actually has a collision box. Thinking about it, the hair collides with this collision box. That's going to be an issue. So I'm going to reset the head to where it's supposed to be, and ignore that ever happened, and then shift this physics body just out so it doesn't collide. It's basically just weighting the physics so that they don't collide with each other. I'm going to make these a perfectly straight line so that this is the hair in its vertical position. I mean, I could be completely doing this wrong, but this is how I've done the character before. The upper and lower bodies, you're going to also want to select these. They should be spine and spine 1. I'm going to set them to 1 in width, and now that actually takes up some space, and now the character has some physical, like, density in regards to bones there, or physics. Just going to check over here, see what the upper and lower... Yeah, if you look, I set the upper and lower to about 1 here. Now, in this case, their rotations are 0. In here, they're not quite, and they're a little off, but it doesn't really matter so long as it's approximately where they are. If you also look, it's only 1 and nothing is checked. The order at which they are doesn't make a difference either, but I believe there was a really strange catch with one of these. One of these had a hidden option. Okay, yes, the head. So if you did what I did and you have the head nub, the way the head nub works is it will be, I think, following these correctly. Yeah, let's go with that. Anyway, oh, if you look, there are physics on the end of the feet also. I kind of forgot to explain this. I think Yep, oops, it froze for a second. I'm going to delete the ones at the end of the feet. I don't need them. There is no point in them. They're taken by the same spot as the end. There we go. That's probably what was throwing me off. Now, looking at these, they are all on the right except for the head nub, which is on the left. That's exactly how you need it. The way you're going to want to connect these is you connect, going to the things, you connect. Okay, so you look at the name of the joint, ponytail 1. So select ponytail 1 and make its target where it would connect to in regards to the model. I think it froze again. Nope. So it's going to connect to the physics head nub. Now you're going to have to take ponytail 11 in this case and connect it to ponytail 1, and then ponytail 12. I believe ponytail 12, connect it to ponytail 11. And then in this case, you're also going to want to connect these joints to something. You're going to need to connect bone, in this case, bone 5 to something, and in this case, bone 7 to something. Going to connect bone 5 to the lower body, which should be... I actually don't remember. I think it's just normal spine. Nope. Spine is lower body, spine 1 is upper body. So just connect them to spine. Both of them to spine. Now if you go ahead and save this, which I'm doing here. Again, I recommend doing a number. At this point, you'd probably be up to 5. I'm just saving it the same thing because I have a different way of saving them. Anyway, that is saved. Now it should have physics in regards to at least basic stuff. The joints, you have to make sure that all the joints have a bone, or like a physics to select that they own, and a physics they're connecting to. If you don't, then they won't work. Don't mess with these. I don't know exactly what they do. Although they look kind of interesting. These are probably more of advanced stuff than anything. Anyway, this is now saved, and if you look, that looks like a model. Now, if you go turn off everything and just look as it is, now that's what I call an exported model created through PMX Editor. It should work fully in MMD other than the ostrich leg, which I explained. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to add in a basic thing of me showing it off in MMD. I'm going to pull open my MMD right here and just show that it actually works. Let's go to load and go, where did I put this? Oh, yes, down here. And I'm going to import what I had. Oh, one thing I just noticed, I told you to set up the information in the first, one of the first episodes of the tutorial. Issue is, the information goes away when you import the model to a new file. So when you work on the IK chains, the information will get removed. You have to enter it again. I forgot about that, so you have this. That's my mistake. So sorry about that, but now you know that you have to go back and rechange it. Anyway, we're going to import it. So now if you look, the IK pieces are staying where they're supposed to be. And now if you move the character, so do the legs move. Now, another thing you're going to want to make sure is that ostrich leg. Yes, I'm going to verify that the ostrich leg still exists. It may exist, but it doesn't mean that you can't rotate on the X and it will force itself up. So, you're still good in that regard. Zoomed in a little bit too far. You're still good in that regard, though. And it should work normally. The hands should work. I'm just stating that all the pieces should work. The head should work fine. Leaving the hair as it is, because it's a physics body. Now, if we go to physics body or physical operation, hit anytime, that's what I call an error. Something is wrong in regards to the hair. Now, I honestly don't remember what I did wrong, so it will do that if you do it wrong. So I'm going to now check the hair and check the statistics of the joints. I thought I knew what I was talking about. Oh. You know what? You want to know what I said to do? I said to attach them the wrong way. Okay, okay. It's as simple as swapping the two. So instead of head, or the, you're going to want the head nub attached to ponytail 1, and then ponytail 1 attached to ponytail 11, then ponytail 11 attached to ponytail 12. If I interpreted that correctly, that's what I did wrong. File save, we're going to delete that model. Going to load it again. If I did this wrong again, I don't know what I did. So physics might be an issue. Here we go. Now if you look, the hair is staying on its own, and if you move the character, the hair does not interact too far with the character, and so do the, these also move on their own, sort of. I mean, it's marginal, but the, side things also move on their own. The legs are having issues physically interacting with them, but simply as it works, though, the hair moves on its own. Quick character movements will cause the hair to phase through, but that's me messing up. That's an undo. So, yeah, I'm going to reset the hair's physical position. Just delete everything, and there. Now that's what the character should work. Now I'm going to quit that and go back. This is the one that we don't want. That was what we were working with. Anyway, last-minute touch-ups. As I said, there are bone groups. This is all personal preference. I'm not going to tell you how do you do this. You just go over to this last tab, or this last fourth tab from the right, and add a group. Name it to, I don't know, like the IKs or something. And then you can go find the IKs, which these are marked with pluses, but you're just going to want to select them and add them, for example, and then add another group, and then these could be like arms or something. And then add, I don't know, the, all the arm pieces. And then, I don't know, maybe legs. And then you just simply add the thigh, calf, thigh, calf. Yeah, I mean, some of these are really even, it's just however you want to do it. just going to add the head and miscellaneous. Head and everything miscellaneous. And now it's a bit more organized and you have 4 sections to work with. Now if we go ahead and save this again, in MMD on the left, where I deleted the things before where we had none, they will actually show up. These won't show up because they're invisible bones, so you can physically remove them, although it's unnecessary. This doesn't exist. And that is how you work with exactly how this works. This is how you import the model, and this has been the tutorial. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be now taking requests for any other part of the tutorial. For example, I believe I've had one in doing weapons, and then one for facial expressions. These are coming later, they're a bit more complicated, and these are really only optional. But to complete the model, you have to do all the tutorials up to this point. Anything past this point is all preference, so do it as you please. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you comment, like, rate, subscribe, and come back when the next tutorials come out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.